Millennium Volunteers is a programme for 16 to 24-year-olds, and it's about young people volunteering. It enables them to achieve 200 hours of service and to get a Millennium Volunteers Award. And it's recognition for their commitment and for the positive impact that they've made on their community. Millennium Volunteers is now its 10th birthday. It's been going for over 10 years. It was originally a Labour Party initiative to encourage young people in active citizenship. It came to Northern Ireland as part of a UK initiative, and one of the greatest things about Millennium Volunteers is that it's had real impact because it has lasted for over 10 years as a funding programme now supported by the Department of Education, and it has seen some 8,000 young people go through it in terms of active volunteering. So it's been a very positive initiative for Northern Ireland.
My original involvement with the Millennium Volunteers was I was invited to attend a steering group meeting right from the very outset. So I think it was probably the first meeting that actually took place. It started off as very much, I think, as a small idea. It was a fresh approach to volunteering, and there were a number of us coming to the process from outside the volunteering world. The vision in that first meeting was we were trying to create something that was a little bit different, a little bit better than previously many of us had experienced in volunteering, and it was an opportunity, I think, to increase the opportunities for volunteers, but also to enhance their experience of volunteering itself.
Started off as a befriender. I would have been meeting up with a guy with special needs and just taking him out into the town and taking him shopping and helping him with things. Just giving him something outside of the home to look forward to every week. I started off with St Vincent de Paul. Did a Christmas collection for them. Then they introduced me to Colette Ruddy and Uri Volunteer Centre, and she then got me registered as a volunteer properly and introduced me to Millennium Volunteers then as well. I've gained an awful lot of experience, more confidence. I've done things like Princess Trust where I've done team building exercises and stuff like that. I've even had dinner with Martin McGuinness in Stormont as a result of Millennium Volunteers as well. My cousin does like arts stuff, so there was a mug that he made of Martin McGuinness and Jerry Adams, and in the back it said "Our Table Come." So the group thought it'd be a good idea to present him in one of these mugs. And it's a bit sort of intimidating because whenever we actually went up to meet Martin McGuinness, he already knew about the mug. And he's like, "Oh, you're going to make a mug out of me then, are you?" I find it very rewarding, and it's obviously now I'm getting a career where I'm getting paid to do stuff like that, so it definitely stuck with me, and it's something that I probably would never have done unless I was volunteering in the first place. It's helped me get my job because I had absolutely no paid experience in a care field, and I have over 2 years caring experience, which was what one of the criteria were for the job. Now I'm working for Praxis Care, and I'm working with mental health as a project worker, and I've just recently completed NVQ Level 3 in health and social care.
I started to volunteer in 1993 with Arbour House in Warren Point, which is a small respite project for people with learning disabilities, and which is completely staffed by volunteers. So I've been there ever since. I'm still there. Well, it provides support for 2 adults over the course of a weekend, so they would come in on Friday night and really get the full range of care and support over the course of the weekend. So that could be maybe helping them with practical things like getting ready in the morning, unpacking clothes, things like that. And then we would usually do some activities, so take them out and about just to make sure they got a full holiday over the course of the weekend. I'm quite a social person, so I enjoyed getting in and chatting to the guests and helping make a good holiday for them. So I think that was my biggest contribution in, trying to look at the full range of support they needed. So as part of my volunteering there with Newry and Mourne Volunteer Centre, as it was at the time, I completed the Millennium Volunteers programme. project, and I currently work with the Cedar Foundation as Deputy Head of our Brain Injury Service. Well, again, the skills that I've developed in Arbour House, particularly those skills around working with other people and working in a very different and changing environment, and also with a mix of volunteers, has helped me develop skills that I was able to bring to Cedar Foundation, which my first role here was supporting people with disabilities in the workplace. So that even the support needs of people with disabilities, I was much more aware of them, and that gave me the skills then to secure paid employment in that area.
Yeah, my name's Kevin Quigley, and I'm currently the Senior Youth Worker in Lisburn YMCA, and I was a Millennium volunteer in 2000. I started with the Millennium Volunteers in the Lisburn Trust. I was approached by a lady to do some mentoring in an organisation called Turning Point, which was a youth mentoring one-to-one. That then, looking at the issues of the young people there, got me interested in youth work, and I started volunteering in a part-time youth centre, and then went on to do my part-time certificate in youth work. Most of the volunteering work initially at the start, when you're volunteering, it's good to find out where the people are at who are actually doing it. After my initial police check, which happens when you're working with young people, it was a bit of admin work first, then it was training and mentoring to work with an individual young person on a one-to-one basis, and then as I got to know more young people and develop the skills, it was taking groups and running sessions and planning sessions, delivering sessions, and eventually evaluating sessions through filling in funding applications. So quite broad. I think volunteering is hugely important, especially where I was when I first started out. I was ill. I just came back to university after having a heart problem, and I ended up in crutches and had no real motivation to do anything. And I've been involved with a volunteer group in an agency that sort of cemented the skills that I had, people motivating you with your skills and put you in the right place and give you support to apply for jobs and give you the direction to do it. Well, we've worked with Millennium Volunteers in here too. We were a Millennium Volunteer placement as well a couple of years ago. The communication skills from Millennium Volunteers are brilliant. The support that they give the volunteers, even from the opportunities of paying their travel subsistence to make it possible. It's an organisation that has to be commended in supporting, I would say, young people. I know it's 18 to 25, but they are young people and motivating people who feel they've got no self-worth and no skills to go out and do things.
I had already been doing volunteer work, but not really getting recognition for it, and when I did turn 16 then, I was told about Millennium Volunteers and then decided to get involved. I've learned that it's important to share something. If you've got it, then share it, and the Millennium Volunteers encourages you to do that as well, so that's probably the most important thing.
The best thing about being a volunteer is kind of helping out other people, teaching what you already know and kind of letting other people do stuff that you were able to do when you were younger. The most important thing I've learned is probably more people skills, talking to people, getting on with kids a bit more, and just generally helping people out.
I think it's made me more confident to stand up in front of groups of people and talk to them and play silly games and run sessions and stuff. So it really has given me more confidence to do, even in everyday life. It's just helped me so much.
It's new experiences all the time. It opens new doors for everybody. Other people should get involved and volunteer because it's class. It's good crack. Meet a lot of new people.
The best thing about being a Millennium Volunteer to me is meeting all these people. You get some characters in here and they'll all become very close friends, and never met people like them. Back 3 years ago you wouldn't have heard a peep out of me, but I've grown so much, especially with my confidence and learning to speak out and to get my voice heard and to help others get their voices heard.
The impact that the Millennium Volunteer project has had on the Blackie River Centre and the young people in the area has just been enormous, and at times immeasurable. The young people in the area look up to the volunteers within our organisation, and their dedication and commitments just have been outstanding at times, and without them we wouldn't be able to run a lot of the activities and programmes that they do. They've secured their own funding, and they do a lot of youth-led projects by young people for young people, which makes it more effective and more relevant to the people that they're working with.
I've been at Millennium Volunteer events for over 3 years now, and in fact I worked with Millennium Volunteers as a politician prior to taking up this post. My department is funding Millennium Volunteering. I think they're doing tremendous work, and what has struck me as I handed out certificates and signed all the certificates 560 young people in this tranche, giving up 200 hours of work. Just look at the experience that those 560 young people have got. And what I've said to Millennium Volunteering, I think it's really important that the young people that they're working with are from right across the political spectrum, right across the socio-economic spectrum, and also that we take into account our minorities, our people from new communities, our people of differing sexual orientation. I think it's really important that they continue on that diversification.
I mean, personally and at a professional level, I'd thank everybody in the Volunteer Development Agency, those who have worked through the Millennium Volunteers. We've had development workers who've gone on to other things, but the Development Agency itself has remained absolutely steadfast and provided us with the steering group with the information and the expertise that we've been needed to steer the project and to steer the whole programme to what is a hugely successful conclusion.
Definitely has changed my life for the better, and I don't know where I would be without volunteering.
I never needed anybody's help in any way. Now these days are gone and I'm not so self-assured. Now I find I've changed my mind and opened up the door.